Cutting-edge guests, awesome, uncensored, jaw-dropping information, plus funny memes, good deeds, and loads of laughter. Kind of have it all. Ladies and gentlemen, if your soul's awake, then welcome, because you're in the right place. Keys of Creation, Medbeds. The future of healing is frequency, light, and consciousness. Welcome back to this next installment of Keys in Creation, you divine lions and lionesses. SEAL Team 6 veteran, remote viewer, and super soldier Michael Jaco joins me, Brad Wozny, former Canadian soldier, wildfire fighter, and Reiki master, for another groundbreaking conversation exploring frequency healing, medbeds, light technology, free energy tech, and the future of human wellness. From hidden space program insights and free energy technologies to emerging light frequency innovations, taking the medical and holistic wellness world by storm. You'll discover why humanity's next evolution, even explored by filmmaker Mickey Willis alongside inventor David Schmidt and others, may not come through chemical, pharmaceuticals, or force, but through awakening the divine healing intelligence already encoded within us. Share this with spiritually awake patriots everywhere around the world and join us in the live chat soon.
Because we've taken people that were dead. We had a person given the last rites and the person became better. It works.
It works, and here we are live back again, everybody. Keys of Creation with the incredible legend, Dev Guru, SEAL Team 6, Michael Jaco, and so many other accolades this man has to his name. Michael, thank you for being back here, and thank you for your service, your support, your friendship, and your leadership.
Yeah, thank you, Brad, for your service. Yeah, it's good to be with another veteran. We've been talking some deep subjects. We're on other military panels and so forth, and they're just starting to get into what we've been talking about for months and months and months now.
Yeah, it's wild. And the Great Awakening is here, everybody, just in case. It's pretty much game over, deep state. And literally what everybody just saw, Michael, there from President Trump, I'm going to play that clip for all of you off the White House website. So nobody can say that was added in, that's made up, that's AI generation, that President Trump said that. And I'll play the 30 seconds leading up to him saying this, and then about another 20 seconds after that, because this gives prominence to a story that is directly related to Michael, which he'll share with you all again. So you get to hear it from a man who has been there, done that, died, lived it, resuscitated, very much like Jesus Christ. Michael has risen again, but here it is from the Commander-in-Chief, 45-47 himself, on the White House website, on May 11th, right now. Have a listen and a look at this, everyone.
But we're not going to count on any record. So Right to Try has been one of the great successes. Again, nobody talks about it. We've saved thousands of lives, but you know what is maybe even more important? We've learned very quickly that some drugs work and some drugs don't. In other words, some drugs take a person who's terminally ill, and there are numerous cases. And without waiting 7 years, 10 years, we by the way, we think we've cut it in half, but you do need a period of time. Without waiting many, many years, we know the drug works because we've taken people that were dead. We had a person given the last rites, God. The kids are crying and started them on this drug, and the person became better. It works, and some don't work. But you learn really fast. It's called the ultimate test, I think, right? They test all these things. They use animals all over the place. They use everything to test.
It works. He's on his deathbed. Kids are crying. Gave him left, rights. Died. And he's okay again. So, Michael, the Super Soldier program, for anybody just joining us for the first time ever hearing, would you mind just describing what the Super Soldier program is for anybody brand new? And then we can go into that story of your resurrection.
Yeah, the Super Soldier program, a lot of people, are starting to get more and more information about it. I've done several shows. It's President Trump. Thank you, President Trump. Came out with Space Force which is moving us in the direction of disclosure for the secret space program. And the secret space program was designed by the good guys, because there's another side which is not so good. You have Majestic 12, which is basically when Eisenhower was presented with, we can give you all this technology from less than good ET sources, from the Roswell, when the Roswell crash, which was on purpose, so that they could say, you see all these great technologies, you can have them. All we need is to have like 300,000, humans that we can experiment on. And he's like, no, I don't think so. And so these 12, they call them Majestic 12, these 12 corporate icons were like, did a backdoor deal. It's like, we'll take that. You'll be able to take as many humans as you want. Just give us the technology. We'll develop it. And that's what they did. All right. So we've heard of, Area 51 and all these other places. These were corporate, icon, high level, multi-billionaire people that, took that information and then started building craft so that they could have a little edge. All right. So eventually the good guys got wind of that and they're like, oh no, you can't do that. You're going to get an edge where you're going to like control the world. No, we're not going to have that. So we started developing that. Now, what they did through different technologies, they would come to people that they saw, kind of like, what the three wise men did. They knew that Jesus was going to be born. So they, watched the stars and they watched the information and however they come about it. And I actually visited that site in Iraq, northern Iraq, where the Kurds are. And I went to that site. It's like, wow, this is where the three wise men were. And so anyway, they went down, they were there for the birth of Jesus. So they knew that he, was going to have these superpowers, and so they gave him a bunch of gold, silver, and frankincense and myrrh, which was very valuable back then. And, he was able to go to all these different schools and places all over the known world at that time and became very knowledgeable in the spiritual realm. So they know there is a group that can, identify certain individuals that are coming in. And some of these individuals, like myself, purposefully incarnate to do some of these things, right? So they, in the space, the higher tech ETs, look a lot like us, and some don't, but they all have very high level of spirituality, high dimensional spirituality. So I've worked with them. Probably you have too, Brad, I bet. And we basically decide before we incarnate, this is what we're going to do when we incarnate. So I incarnated. They came to me, came to my mother, and they're like, and I remember seeing them. They were like, these NASA-looking guys. I look at NASA back in that time frame. Their suits and ties and their haircuts and everything, and they're real, got their glasses on. They're smart guys, intellectual guys. So they approached my mom about having me in this program, and that she would give up some of her eggs to be in this program too. So I remember my doctor was Dr. White. So Dr. White and Dr. Black those were two symbols of guys that worked in these programs. So if any of you that from that time frame, your doctors or Dr. Black or Dr. White were probably involved in that stuff. So I was eventually put in one of these programs, and when you're in these, they call it 20 and back. So you go in, you work in the secret space program for 20 years, and then they put you back in the time frame where they took you, if you want to go back, and they erase your memories and so forth. So that's where a lot of people are. You hear this 20 and back secret space program. That's where a lot of people go in and out. Now, the dark side guys do the same thing. They have a 20 and back, but they basically just take people as slaves and they put them in these programs, and they, perform and then he put them back. So you're having people that have these memories get jogged over time. You know, usually when you hit about 40 or 50, your memories start to come back, right? So that's what's happened for me. Now, like I said, I stayed in the program. I just interviewed a guy that did 3 tours, 60 years, and I'm still doing it. I haven't stopped. So I have multiple, because they took eggs from my mother, and we were both, yes, I will do this. So the consciousness is a big thing. So if you're involved in it on a very positive level, like we talked about, you're going to do more and achieve more and help more in this program. And that's what they do for millions. There's millions of people here on Earth that have been involved in this program. So within this program, for me, they accelerated me. You know, so you think 20 years, like you're like 5 years old, and it's like you're only like 25, and when you're 5 years old, how could you have an impact? Well, they have a way to accelerate your development. So it's like a super steroidal type stuff. They start, you know, inputting you. So in just a couple of years, you go from like me for 5 years, it went to like a 20-year-old, physically, mentally, and everything. And they have even newer programs where I've heard someone talking about where they put you in a cylinder, a clear cylinder with like this pink fluid that you're in. They have your DNA. So this is an important part. The DNA, they have that DNA for you. So if you ever get injured or, you know, lose a limb or die or anything like that, they can put your DNA into this fluid. They stick tubes and probes that go into your different organs and so forth, and they can, you know, they can fix you again. They can regenerate limbs. There's one time where I remember this part of my head was blown away. I was dead, and they put me in the chamber, kind of like you see in Avatar, where they float in the water, and you know they have probes in them and everything, and electrifying, because we're basically electrical beings, and you know, beings of light and electricity. So yeah, perfect. So when they regenerate you, they have like 30 to 40 days to completely regenerate you. Your soul will go back into your body, and all the mystics and so forth, you know, talk about how you usually hang around your body for 30 to 40 days after you die. So it's kind of the same thing. So they regenerate, like you heard President Trump talking about how they brought somebody back to life. And so we have that technology. So he knows that. He's probably maybe even witnessed some of it. We bring people back to life. And it's not just me. There's thousands and thousands of people that have been injured, lost limbs or whatever. Limbs get regenerated. You can stay about the same age, about 30, 35 years old is like the average age, even for people that have been in the program for like 3 iterations, 20-year, you know, iterations. So they'd be like 60, 70 years old or whatever. And they're still physically, mentally, and everything still 35. But of course, you have all your memories, you have all your experiences, which play a huge part, you know, in the secret space program, you know, making that a very effective organization.
It was incredible. So it reminds me that there's so much truth that we've seen in movies. So you've got in Captain America, the very first one that Marvel brought out, they bring that guy in and he looks like he's, you know, got the body of a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old, and he signs up for World War II. And then they pump him full of their drugs, and all of a sudden he's Captain America. He's the super dude. But then he's the same age all throughout the decades and the ages, and the woman that he wanted to marry before he went off to fight the Nazis in Europe. You know, she's grown old to 80 and she's withered and skin, and he's the same. Steve. Wow. Captain America's the same.
I didn't know that connection. That's fantastic. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. After this, you and Tracy Joe need to watch Captain America tonight.
Yeah, I gotta watch that again. Good.
Yeah, exactly. Because he'll never age, and you know, you can't kill Captain America. And then now we're also seeing that that pink fluid you were mentioning, Michael, like an amniotic fluid, put your DNA in there and then regenerate it, just because it has your blueprint. And it also, since you mentioned, right, we're electromagnetic, bio-photonic beings of light. Anybody can look at Carolean photography from 1966 all the way now to the spectral photography that is commercially available for everybody to see. And we have this quantum entanglement and this signature for every individual, which is there, that can regenerate these things for us. And I love how you mentioned, if your soul or your consciousness, that mystics have, goes all the way back to Sanskrit, everything, right? Tibetan, libraries as well. If your soul, your consciousness is hanging around for 30 to 40 days, that also gives me an vision of astral travel. So the body being the vessel or the car, to put it in another more familiar term with some of the audience, right? Let's just say you have a car. That's your chosen car for this lifetime, right? But it grows up with you. Something happens, it gets dinged, the engine's dead, but you can't go anywhere. You can go into the waiting room somewhere. You can go traveling around and hopefully you come back, but you have a certain time limit. That's almost what we're saying here. I would like to put forward. Does that kind of resonate with you, to give it those analogies?
Yeah, absolutely. We have those technologies. We've talked about these technologies that are already here. So they're already being implemented slowly, methodically, just like you're talking about the movies. They give us little keys. You look at Aquaman. You have Momo. What's his? Jason Momoa.
Oh yeah, playing.
Yeah. So he plays Aquaman, and there's another incarnation that I'm currently living where I'm an Aquaman. So in that Aquaman, I have gills right here. I can swim as fast as a dolphin. I grew a tail, and the arms come in and everything. So one of the ways that we're used is, of course, we have this ability to send out like a pulse that comes back to us, and we read what's out there.
Yeah,
we can actually create sound waves, and the dolphins do the same thing. We actually train the dolphins to get as good as we are, but we create sound waves that can destroy ships, submarines or whatever, or influence them, whatever we need to do. These are some of the technologies we've seen. We've seen Dune. If you ever watch Dune, they have like this machine that goes, whoa, and they send out this sound wave that just
sonic weapon.
Yeah, sonic weapon. Very good. So sound travels faster in water than it does in air. So you can communicate in water faster. So if there's something going on, because there's a lot of stuff going on underwater that people still don't understand. You see aircraft and stuff in the sky, planes fighting and jets and all that kind of stuff. Drones, that is all happening underwater on a level that's even faster and more advanced. So it's very, very interesting. All these technologies, all these capabilities. Same thing with the DNA. Our DNA can be influenced to create these tails that I'm talking about, the way we're able to swim. So fantastic stuff.
It's really cool stuff. And for anybody who's been watching just the UFO disclosures as well, tied all to this. And again, 4 years ago, May 3rd, 2022 was the very first show on the Sovereign Soul Show. And for many shows after, dozens and dozens, I would say, we stand for, we report and we talk about all things ancient, current, and quantum. Ancient, current, and quantum. Well, here it is. You're seeing this entire culmination of ancient, current, and quantum warfare, militaristic, psychological, spiritual, physical, emotional, and then all obviously environmental warfare to a degree, but the frequencies that can all be flipped back to the benevolent, to light. So dark forces, light forces, right? Dr. Light versus Dr. Black, which blows my mind. That was your doctor. Then holy cow. I mean, what a tell. X-Files Mulder would go crazy with that one. But here is a video analog from 1994 about the underwater submersible objects, right? Which, Michael, you were just mentioning. So I'm just going to play 30.
I'll mention right here, Brad.
Sure.
I don't know any of these videos, but I just come on and you just roll it, and I'm like, I just kind of ad lib and speak about some of the stuff. But isn't that interesting that you had this planned and I didn't even know that at all. And I'm talking about the underwater stuff. So that's how, both of us are in tune. So the vibrational frequency, thought frequencies and so forth, we all in the secret space program and in the underwater kingdom stuff that we do, we're all tapped in. All of us are tapped in. So you work with somebody like Brad and I have for a while, you start to just tap in. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. And here it is, everybody. 1994. So you were in what SEAL team? You were obviously SEAL Team 6 by this way. You were in DevGru in 1994.
94. I was SEAL Team 6.
Yeah. And even then, they probably didn't tell you about this stuff going on. Here it is, everybody.
Get close. Okay, I'm gonna put this camcorder down.
All right, now it takes about a minute where he pans around the boat. So I'm just gonna shuttle it forward. There you go. That's an old school editing vernacular. Shuttle it forward. So August 31, 1994. And just hang on. Right after he films the sunset. There you go. So notice that. Sunset, and then he pans to the
We're either being surrounded by friggin' UFOs or the Coast Guard. If I want us in, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 lights we see there. They've been coming on, they were 7 lights.
So I'll just pause it for a second so everybody can see this, right? So is it triangle or not? Well, there's kind of arranged in a triangle. And it bumps around. You can hear the twin screws going in the background as he's yelling over it. And the clip's going to end here in just a moment. So I'll play the rest of it.
They're keeping pace with us.
Very cool. Yeah, those probably, there is a possibility that they came from underwater bases. And I've been talking about that for years. And when we had all those drones that were out on New Jersey a couple years ago or so, that everybody was freaking out about, I said they were coming from underwater bases. And then the Coast Guard said that they were seeing them come in and out of the water. So obvious, and it kind of stopped there. They didn't go any further with it, of course. So we do have the technology to go in and out of the water. I remember when I was a little boy, 5 years old or so, around the time frame where they came and got me. But of course, I continued as a little boy, but there was a part of me, they flipped me and put me in the secret space program. Then I did all the, the workups and so forth to be part of the secret space program force, super soldier and so forth. So you're brought in these programs that have different aspects, of course. I talked to a guy a couple yesterday that was basically, he would go in and talk to them and try and make peace and try to calm everybody down. If that didn't work, then I got involved. It's kind of like, President Trump yesterday is like, we want to make peace with Iran, but to my left here, if they don't want to go with the peace program, I have someone that's going to bring. It was talking to Pete Hegseth, because President Trump is definitely, I would say, he is the best commander in chief ever by far, because look at how smoothly he has been able to take down all these different threats all over the world. Al-Baghdadi. He took him out very quickly. When I was in working for the CIA, I was like, why don't we take this guy out? He's the guy that's running the program and everything. And no one could tell me. So it's all, CIA, he's, I don't know, maybe he's working for CIA, whatever, the bad guy side of the CIA, because I was definitely on the good guy side. And we were all like, why are we still doing these wars? Should be done. President Trump comes in, boom, it's over. ISIS threat done, within months. We've been fighting them for years, and they were like, oh, it's going to take years and years before we finally defeat them. And he's like, no. And so we came in within months, and there was hardly any problems after that. So here we are with a threat, Iran, 47 years. They have been a threat to the world. Every time I went to the Middle East, all the problems were created by Iran, their money, their influence, everything. So imagine what's going on right now. We just been kind of like sitting, and everybody's like, why don't we just go in and bomb them? I'm kind of like one of them, like just kick them out. Like so easy. But what he's doing is less loss of life on a massive scale, less loss of life. We've lost 13 members in the United States military since this started. And he's like, one is too many. And I agree with him, think about it. If you were that one, how would you feel about that? So he's, they're collapsing, their economy's collapsing. The police are not showing up for duty. The military's not getting paid. They're not showing up. So it's collapsing. So the longer, he's working this, and every now and then he comes in and like blows the crap out of, they see some bases or whatever, to blow them up. They're like, oh yeah, let's work on a peace deal. And then they're like, they kind of like kick the can around, and then they blow something else up. They take out another leader. And oh yeah, so let's keep working on the peace deal. People don't see that. They don't understand, how important that is. So I talked to a guy yesterday that did that in the secret space program.
Wow.
And, so I was the military end. If I got involved, so same way in Iran right now, because we have at our disposal hundreds of years worth of advanced technology at this point. Hundreds of years advanced. When I was in the military, we had 40, 50 years advanced. When I was CIA, maybe up to 100. But with the secret space program, there's hundreds of years advancement, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go think about it. The craft that we use in the secret space program have consciousness, just like we do. So I come in and I fly them. I have to learn how to fly the craft. That's what I did when I was in beginning stages.
Very cool.
So you learn how to communicate. There's really no controls, no stick and anything like that. You just put your hand into this, and you're just kind of like in a meditative state, and you fly. You go through
Flight of the Navigator.
Yeah. So you're at one with this craft. This craft goes in and out of the water like it's nothing. It goes through mountains like it's nothing. It goes in portals. I'm like, okay, you got to go through a portal. And then it's like communicates. We communicate with each other, and there's a portal at this area. So we're whoop, and then boom, and through the portal, through time, if need be. And then we come out at another point just before they're like, okay, let's go get them. And then we're like, boom, blast them. Yeah. So it's crazy, super, super advanced technology, way, way ahead of what's going on right now. So President Trump has that at his disposal. So when he talks about, we're bringing people back from the dead, that ain't nothing. That ain't nothing. We have so much advanced technology. And of course, David Schmidt is starting to leak that stuff out. He worked for the military, and he built stuff for the Navy SEALs, and then he got out from that organization because he was forced out crazily, and started to work on this side. Because why would he be forced out from a military system that's benefiting, like the Navy SEAL teams, from that technology? Same thing with the Majestic 12. They're controlling that information at their end so that they can have an edge to control the world. It's losing it because we're rapidly advancing past their technologies very, very, very fast.
An important part of that too, Michael, for everybody here, is the consciousness from the awakening and the awareness. Now it's been 3 days ago, I had a briefing from somebody has not been on any television channel, show, podcast for at least 15 years, but going back 30 years, anybody who's been in the movement or is an American patriot would recognize him at the highest levels. And he shared with me in that briefing and we mentioned it on our show the other night. They said the military, the way they bring this out to the people is through TV, media, books, so films and music to build the awareness. Once you have the awareness of the people, so they're not in fear. Fear causes the easiest way to control anybody is put them into fear, right? The threat to their life, the threat to their livelihood, no job, as we know. That type of fear threat, once they have a greater awareness, they can't be controlled. They're outside of the system. Then you can move forward with the full abundance of what the truth really is and get it from that stage. So what we see here, I've got 3 clips I want to share with all of you from the awareness stage, news and media. The first clip is a guy whistleblowing, talking about Lockheed Martin, right to your point about the craft, Michael, that goes hundreds or maybe even 1,000 or more years advanced than what we have on Earth right now commercially available. This is on the Danny Jones show just the other day about Lockheed Martin, Skunk Works, and what they've been hiding.
Lockheed right now, there are craft that can go to Mars in a few hours, right now in Lockheed.
So how do you know what they have at JPL? How do you know they have...
Not JPL, Lockheed.
Lockheed. How do you know that Lockheed has this technology that we can get to Mars in a couple hours?
Lockheed has, I think, some assets in Nevada, but they have a lot of corporate facilities in California, in the state of California. And supposedly there is this shack on the side of a highway in California that looks like some nondescript warehouse, small warehouse. And you go into this warehouse and the whole floor of the warehouse is an elevator. And it drops Lord knows how many hundreds of feet. And you're inside of a, basically a facility carved out of rock, deep underground.
Yeah.
So he's talking about the deep underground mountain bases. The subtropolises are everywhere. That's the first clip. Going to play 30 seconds of the next clip on Fox News as Elon Musk is putting out to everybody right now. Elon 2.0, 3.0. Not a good guy, but being used in this special operation to bring massive disclosure to everybody about building bases on the moon thanks to NASA, which I believe is a 100% repurposing. Here's a super soldier who can verify that for everybody here, right here with Michael. Listen to this. This is Fox News.
I didn't work on Mars at all because that's the deep state's base. They own that planet. But I worked on a lot of almost every other, the moon, Venus, Saturn, a little bit of Jupiter. But, Mars is kind of like, that's why you hear, Elon Musk is like, we're going to Mars. It's like, no, Elon, we don't want to go to Mars because Mars is the bad guy land. But, maybe we'll take it back over. Probably will at some point. But at this point, it's not a good place.
Not a good place. And they're acknowledging it right here to the world.
Commercial partners to leverage the incredible capabilities from commercial industry to build a moon base. We are leveraging the NASA playbook from the 1960s, figuring out what works and what doesn't in this epic science of survival, because the moon base is as beautiful as it is hostile.
Is, not will be, is. They're beautiful. Showing everybody. The new moon base is as beautiful as it is hostile. Is. Playbook, blah, 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 right? Special operations.
Why is it hostile? Because there's a deep state influence there. Even though we are there, we being the good guys, the white hats, if you will, the secret space program white hats, we still have to overcome this dark side. And so again, do you go in and just blast everybody? People die and there's karma involved in this. I don't want that karma. But if it comes down to it, yeah. But you always push to the very, very last, point, trying to be peaceful, kind of like President Trump is doing. President Trump is doing exactly what we do in the secret space program right now.
Yeah, really powerful. And talk about the deep state playbook being used against him. Here's that man that everybody has seen quite a bit, suddenly showed up on the scene, Luis Elizondo on Fox News with Jesse, maybe not AGI Waters. We'll see.
Are in possession of these crafts? What are we doing with them?
Yeah, Jesse, thanks for having me. I did testify in 2024 in November, for the record and under oath, that our government is in possession of material, exotic material that is not ours and possibly originates from somewhere else. And then I was also followed by other folks as well in later testimony who have discussed non-biological remains that were non-human biological remains that were retrieved from some of these crashes.
So when you, I guess, were speaking to these people that talked about non-human biological remains, what did they describe?
Well, Jesse, to be honest with you, when I was at the Pentagon and I was part of the Pentagon's UFO investigation team called ATIP, I was more of a nuts and bolts guy. We did have experts, scientists, and medical doctors that were looking into the biologic aspects. And by the way, this goes way back, way before my time even. We're talking literally the late 1940s. And if you look at this latest document drop and video drop that this administration has authorized for release, there is an absolute treasure trove of information contained in this second tranche of information.
Thank you, Lewis. So now we have the disclosure of non-human biologics. Alien CIA might have been running around using Ancestry.com, 23andMe to supposedly, find alien-type races in our DNA. Q told us, protect your DNA. And it's all about, once again, you can use frequency, healing, light, consciousness malevolently or benevolently, like Tesla has said. If you want to understand the universe, think of energy, frequency, and vibration. So turn it back to you, Michael. First of all, comments on those three clips and all those are from the last 72 hours out there in the public for them to see.
Yeah, so the disclosure is heating up. The Project Bluebeam, where they're going to have this fake alien invasion. That's pretty much a nothing burger now because we have all this positive, and they're pointing out the negative side as well that's out there. Even Jesse Waters, CGI Jesse Waters, or like the new Jesse Waters, because I remember Jesse Waters, he was kind of like, a very immature, guy in the beginning, and now he's like very well-spoken, and it's like, did they replace him, or did he just get instantly a new brain, or what happened? But cloning is huge in these different. Speaking of Jesse Waters, cloning is very huge, and Elon Musk and all these Biden, and so cloning is something that's now being talked about. Even Jesse Waters talked about these reptilian Draco beings and so forth. It's like it's all being revealed. So the bad guys, the Draco, the ones that like to eat our babies and drink blood and all that kind of stuff. So to keep themselves young, they're being called out. They're being dimed out. They're losing their ability. Now, as far as like the capabilities of the craft, like I discussed earlier, that stuff is being revealed slowly but surely. They're showing craft going into the water. We've seen a few of those already. Eventually, they're going to show more. And now they're showing like where portals used to be. I think it was like New Mexico or one of those where they had a mountain, and they're like, "Oh, look at this! It's like, where did this come from?" It's like it looks like some kind of opening to a cave, and it looked big enough for a craft to fly into, and so forth. Yeah, a lot of those places were portals, but some of those are now defunct because of the wars that have been going on here on the surface between good and bad aliens and so forth, and secret space program. So there is a lot of that going on. Invisibility is a capability that we have as well. You're just flying at a different frequency, like we talk about vibration frequency. You change the vibrational frequency. I can do that with my craft, or I did used to do that with my craft. At this point, I'm in charge of large groups of people that do that. Right. So you're going to have a lot of this stuff to start to leak. So people are looking at, oh, that's very interesting. What is that? So we'll eventually start to see that, where some of these places are, bases where craft fly into, portals where craft fly into to shift to different areas of the cosmos, our solar system, galaxy, our whole galaxy, other galaxies. So some of this is going to start to be revealed.
Yep.
Those humans are not just in our solar system. They're throughout our galaxy, and they're in other galaxies. We, humans, are in other galaxies. So that's going to be disclosed as well. I mean, we're just getting to the point where there's some guys that are involved in some of these high-tech craft, and that's going to, go to another level where, these guys are flying craft that have consciousness. And so that'll leak to the mainstream. Okay. We are, building that foundation as people listen to this and they go, I see that as a possibility. So I believe this, and I'm not just someone that just, hook, line, sinker, everything, have critical thinking. I'm like, this makes sense. So that will build a foundation for it to move up into mainstream media, because that's what we do at our level, Brad. We create the foundation. Sometimes we don't get credit. Often we don't get credit, but we're doing it now. We don't really do it for credit anyway. We're just doing it we want humanity to advance, because we like to live in a place that's, everybody gets along, and we're not constantly trying to outdo each other and kill each other and so forth. At some point we reach that level here on Earth.
Yep. Nice little Star Trek-like civilization, right? Spacefaring, here we go. Prosperity, love, peace, enjoyment. People are doing what you were born to do. You are who you were born to be. You came in here to fulfill that role, whether it's science or arts or, gardening, right? Incredible. Agriculture as well, too. I mean, everybody has an incredible role to fill, but the deep state with Franken foods and all that kind of stuff just didn't want it. They want to suppress our consciousness and our uplifting and our vibration, as you say, the love vibrations, right?
Very good. And then, like we're talking about Jesse Ventura or Jesse Waters, exposing, Elon exposing, you have that exposure going on, and you have a new movie that's coming out, Steven Spielberg. Mm-hmm. So Steven Spielberg is basically one of those guys that gets downloads, or they, communicate with him to reveal this information. So we go all the way back to Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and he's built upon that over time. So this next movie, I don't know if you've seen the trailer to it yet, but it's fantastic. And it's another reveal. Again, just like we're talking about, Majestic 12 type guys are trying to, stop the information from coming out, but they're not able to, because on the mainstream media, people are starting to, without their knowing, they're revealing. Like this one woman starts speaking in a tongue from the aliens, and it's a code. Basically, everybody hears it, and it helps them awake. So that's my thoughts. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet.
No, I think you're right on point. The guy who got the Presidential Medal of Freedom from Obama, Spielberg, along with Tom Hanks, right? And Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah, there's some issues there, maybe, but for whatever. I see a lot of people that I'm like, that's not the greatest guy, like Elon, or whatever. But they're doing their part, to reveal, and who knows, maybe they're captured for the good guy side now, which I think is very probable.
Yep. Yeah, that disclosure day will be pretty incredible coming up. And I think, the through line of the message for Michael and I to everybody here, and then everybody that you're watching the broadcast or listening to this podcast later, bring this out to all of your friends and your family, because what they wanted to do was turn you off. You are the quantum reactor. You are the God spark. You are literally the source. You are an aspect of source consciousness, our prime creator, that they wanted to turn you off and enslave you, whether it was unfortunately to murder you or just to take you over, transhumanize, cyborgize you, and then you're a slave to them. And what stops that is the awareness from a consciousness standpoint, and you've got to bring your body, mind, and soul into that. And I mean, just a few weeks ago, members of our team on LifeWave, Michael and I, Jennifer Allen and Barbara Lippincott, we did a Toxic World New Hope show, right? From X39, 49 to X20, which I think is amazing how it's perfectly been called the Genesis machine since David Schmidt got the download, as you mentioned, on the Disclosure Day download in Cocoon, or Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Sorry, not Cocoon. But you see this where he went, all right, so if I can decode the passage in the Bible and match it up to a frequency from gematria, is there anything in nature that source has provided to us, which is the equivalent? And he found it, and he discovered it, and he invented it, and he created, which is what many shows you and I have said, Michael, David Schmidt is the modern day Tesla of our time. Maybe even the reincarnation came back, to complete some of his works here. We'll see. But if anybody has not followed or listened to or even heard of this man, David Schmidt, we're going to play a video here for about 2 minutes of how he wants to heal the world, because our mission is to help 1 billion souls served and uplifted, not like McDonald's. For Michael and I and the team.
Yeah, that's coming soon, I think.
Oh, my goodness, I can't wait, because it's going to be out with the Mickey Wildos film, right? 370 million people are going to see it very shortly. So this is David Schmidt in his own words to everybody about his mission, his soul's purpose and mission. Now he has 201 patents issued or pending to his name. And here's a guy, when we talk about Star Trek, whose name was Spock in college. Here it is, 2 minutes. Mr. David Schmidt.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
Well, there you go. That's going to be a clip shown in Code of Creation. Mickey Willis, who did Plandemic, Great Awakening, now doing the Freedom Convoy and Free Joby Weeks. That just came out. Code of Creation, Amazon Prime, Netflix, and that other little one, Apple TV, are going to see and learn all about LifeWave X39 Cellergize AM, as well as the Genesis X20 water machine, which Michael has been a beta tester for and now has several in the house. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, definitely. When I watched that, and I watched it several times, it gives me chills all over my body, because I know it's going to be so impactful for humanity. More and more people are starting to experience the X20 light infused water. The only type of its kind. Who would have thought that this is actually a possibility, that you can infuse light into your body? Now, the patches, of course, are activating your own light that's coming from your body. They hit the LifeWave patches, X39, X49, and they're reflected back, and they activate your stem cells, right? So along with the Cellergize AM, there's active ingredients within that help to, increase the potentiality of the X30, X49, or all the patches. And then with the water, I use, it's beautiful. I'm glad you hold that up. So
I'll be your Vanna White. I'll be your Vanna White. Get ready to watch that. Here we are.
So you take a little tiny scoop and, put it in your X2O water, because X2O water is going to, because it's so perfectly, hydration level, and it, goes through that, barrier and the cellular structure very quickly, easily. It transports these very vital nutrients into your cells, into your mitochondria, and activates them very, very quickly and very efficiently. Yeah. So mitochondria, the building blocks of, the cell, and there's problems with those over time through different, environmental, influences, and, things that go in your arm that we don't recommend. Because I just saw a study where, real study, between unvaccinated and the vaccinated children. The unvaccinated have no problems, and the vaccinated, oof. I even have my own experience, 60 years, more than 60 years ago, where I remember being vaccinated, and then I got, childhood asthma. Fortunately, I grew out of it, but my cousin got the same thing. Now, that's one of the problems with vaccination that we're finding out. The mercury and all the crazy stuff they put in those vaccinations is very harmful. You're not getting anything harmful from LifeWave. In fact, nothing goes in your body other than the water and the Cellergize. And that's all proven to be extremely effective in, reversing a lot of things. Now, President Trump talked about, those people that are, dead and coming back. We're helping people that are basically lots of people. Well, of course, help everyone, but we're having amazing results with people that are drinking the water that are in hospice. Basically, they're on their last few days or hours of life. They drink the X2O water and they walk out and they start living a normal life again. We've heard a lot of people. I've heard from a lot of people that this has happened to. So this is, God's gift to us. It is Genesis water, the building blocks of life, is basically coming back in and reactivating us, creating the super soldier bodies, reversing the aging process. Not for everybody. We have to put, isn't it sad that we have to keep saying that?
Yeah.
It's not for everybody, but that's the control system that we're under, where we have to say this. We should be like, people are like, well, does it or doesn't it? Well, it could help, it has helped a lot of people. And they're like, but those people could probably really be helped, because every time I've drank the water, I feel like the neurons in my brain go whoosh, just light up. And people that have had, neurological issues and problems have turned them around. Right? So these people that are very stubborn probably could really benefit from this X2O water, awakening to the coming revelations that are coming, the ability to, reverse, the aging process, the ability to overcome wound problems. A lot of people have had, wounds that don't heal and get worse and worse over time. I mean, for years and years, they're, reverse that process very quickly with the patches and the X2O water. So there's many benefits. You don't have to be like sickly or aged. You could be a youngster. We've had, very, very young people, even in the womb, so that have benefited from this. Of course, again, we can't say this is going to happen for everybody, but here we are with RFK Jr. You see the X39 patch on the C7 down the neck a little bit. That little bump that's back there, that's C7. That's a meridian point where we put the X39, so it has a great benefit, great effect on the body. So this is one of one of the things, look at all the weight he's leg pressing. It's like weight. I do. So it's amazing. He's doing amazing things. He's helping turn around the vaccine problems that we have. He's turning around a lot of stuff, and of course he's using the X39 right there, and probably the other patches as well.
Yep, and these are publicly acknowledged facts that RFK uses X39. Members of the Maha cabinet, other members of the Trump and his team wear X39 as the base fundamental patch, and we'll tell you why in a moment. That's really critical for everybody around the world because it's accessible in almost 90 countries on every continent except Antarctica at the moment. So, but soon to come. We'll open
That's
up
where the deep state went
there. Yeah, exactly, which is amazing. But here's the thing, right? The key that we've been showing you, that the X2O water technology machine, which is, do you see up the image here, which is changing the world already from the medical textbooks. There will be more on that later. We can't even disclose that right now because we're still under that system of control. But Michael's already shared with things that allude you to it. But here it is. That machine alone, everybody, that David invented in over 10 years, there's 20 patents on that. So he has, as of last month, he has 201 patents to his name, most prolific American inventor of our time walking the face of the earth today. And with 20 patents, one of those was for creating an element that never existed before on the periodic table. So that's being added to the periodic table. And the other element is water, which has never existed before anywhere in the galaxy, which had to get its own classification at the U.S. Patent and Trademark. They had to open a new division at the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office for the LifeWave X2O water technology. So yeah, it's dual stage filtration, it's hydrogen enriched, but it infuses 6 layers of light into the water. And that's why within 1 to 3 glasses, people are having results of which will blow you away in a very positive way. And all the results so far on the clinical studies published are positive to a level that, like I said, it will change medical textbooks and history books. And I don't know, maybe, potentially, President Trump just alluded to at the beginning of this broadcast. Now, the thing is, that's not available outside the USA right now, and X39 is. So while people are sitting here going, all right, I'm waiting for the med beds, and they have their ailments, and they're crippled, or they're doing all this other stuff, and we're not making light of any of that, right? Because, yep, that technology will be rolled out, and it might even be from LifeWave itself. You'll hear from Captain Kirk, William Shatner, in a moment. As a result of that, what can you do? Everybody, for the price of a Dunkin' Donuts latte a day, right now can get X39, which won the Stem Cell Innovation of the Year Award with Cellergize AM. Everybody can get X39 around the world. 60 days. It's $99. Good old Gretzky for a month. 60-day money-back guarantee. And here it is, right? Like we were seeing with RFK Jr. And there are other ones too, but why wouldn't you want to activate your copper peptides, which, as Lauren Picard has shared, then activate all of your stem cells in a third of your genome, no matter what age or where you are. And it works. And it's a little sticker. You put it on the back of your neck or anywhere on your body, wear it 12 hours a day, take it off at night because it's a yang energy, not a yin energy, and let it do the work. Be the light, reflect the light back into you and walk around in the light. Is there anything you want to say about X39 to that effect, Michael? Because I'll show them a little more on that on our webpage, and then we'll get over to Captain Kirk shortly.
Yeah, I mean, the full spectrum of what X39, that's why we recommend the start on X39. I've seen so many people in the beginning stages. I'm number one in the company for 4 years in a row. Basically, or 3 years. I think I'm going to be 4, but
we're going to make sure you're 4. We're on the same team here. We got to make sure you're 4. Yeah.
Awesome. And so for 4 years in a row, the top customer getter in the company. So And Brad has built a very, very nice business. So not only do we recommend people, get and use the patches, and experience your own great results, but to share them. I mean, why wouldn't you want to share this? I remember when I was in the SEAL teams, it's like I would find out some new shooting style or hand-to-hand program. I was, this is a great way to take somebody down or crush somebody's throat, whatever. So I had all these great stuff that I would learn, and it's like I got to share it with my team. So that's the way I feel, and I think that's one of the reasons why I'm very successful, is because I feel and know how great this system is, and people are like they trust me, and they are using the patches and having the great experiences. So we have many people, you on your team, Brad, and a lot of people on our teams that share these. All they do is share the patches, and they're building a nice little business on the side, and some a very, very substantial, like yourself. Very, very substantial business, which is helping them, achieve and do the things that they've always dreamed of doing. So that's what you have. Over time, you can build that kind of business success, which I've done and Brad has done. So it is a phenomenal system. It's increasing, like we see with the X2O machine. It is like a massive, leap ahead in wellness and many other things, reversing all kinds of things that, like I said, like President Trump said, they were dead and they came back to life. We have people that are like 1 foot in the grave and basically come back, so it's pretty amazing. Yeah.
And this is with the X39 patch. That last comment also is for the X39 patch, right? We've seen these people come back, but it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. FYI, everybody. And Julia, Elena, we see you, and we've got your back, and you've got ours. Thank you. Now, point to this, everybody. A couple of things. Colonel Chuck Sellers, former deputy commander of Delta Force, who wears the X39 patch and others, along with his beautiful wife, Michelle, says, if I was still in, I'd issue these X39 patches to every man and woman under my command. Norman Traversy, Freedom Convoy, right? 30-year firefighter hero of the year in Canada, 30-year heroic firefighter paramedic. By day 2 of X39, I was running upstairs the first time since the 20th century. So here's a man with all of this and so much more, right? We'll show you a little more on the testimonials that people put into the chats here, which is amazing and appreciate it. But you just look at, here it is, the patented power of the patch. Lifeway invested 10 years into stem cell research. David Schmidt, resulting in over 70 patents, and the X39 patch. And here's just a few of those right there. So you can go over to liveyounger.com/Buddha. Links are all below the description if you want to see the videos, right? And why a decade of stem cell research? The older you get, the faster you age, the slower you heal. And due to a natural decline in our body's #1 repair system, stem cells, by age 30, they have decreased about 50%. And by age 60, only a small percentage of your stem cells are active. So X39 activates the GHK-Cu copper peptide in your bloodstream, which then, as we've seen through research, proves it activates all the rest of the stem cells in your body or wakes them up like the Snow White, the good old kiss, in mere seconds, and then 1/3 of your genome. So everything is under here. You can see the video from David Schmidt. You can look at the results. You can listen to what doctors are saying, chiropractors, MDs, naturopaths, you name it. We have so many. You're part of our team. You get a 60-day, 100% money-back guarantee. And you get Zooms, emails, phone calls with all of us, members of our team that you don't even see here. It's incredible. For $99 just for X39. I wouldn't wait, because you're going to have the best thing that I hear people saying, and we get greater sleep, more energy in the day, and who wouldn't want that, right? Like Captain Kirk here, we'll go over to now. Just follow it up with a comment from Michael, though.
Yeah, so, we're looking at Star Trek level stuff. Now, a lot of people think you're going to lay on a bed and get well. Yes, there is that, because like I talked about with the DNA, and the tanks where you're blown to bits, and they pump in your DNA and you reactivate, regrow limbs and so forth. The med beds to a certain level will do that, but the tanks will have to take you to the point where you're regrowing. You have to live in the tank for a while, right? So not everybody's going to be up for that, but everybody's up for just put on a sticker, a patch, and you don't have to do anything. And it's like, doing all this work for you, and your body's doing what it needs, is getting what it needs. So it's very, very amazing, incredible technology. And look at these. Every time we do shows, I mean, the people come in and just give us incredible accolades, and their results are miracles.
Yeah, this is Caraboko. She's in our chat right now. Here it is from her on one of our last shows. Said, I canceled all my subscriptions to make this happen. X39 and others like Aeon. And she said, the support is wonderful. And Caraboko says, I was prone to 2 strokes, had 2 already, and I'm now free of that. My cognitive skills have improved massively. No more allergies, and the list goes on. And that's what Kara is saying to X39 and Aeon. I mean, man, and you don't want to be in a hospital right now, especially in Canada, where Kara's from. And that's the handle to protect her real identity. And walk into a hospital and say this in Canada right now. So, yeah, how great is that? You could put a sticker on and have these incredible results that she reported.
Beautiful. Yeah. It's so many people are experiencing it. Hopefully people have been, watching us. I know the people that are already involved with the patches and the water machine are watching us. They get more every time we do a show. But then there's some that, like the peripheral, we can't just like make these massive claims, which really are happening. But we have to, have the caveat that it cannot, maybe not work for everybody. I will tell you, pretty close to just about everybody, not everybody, but we have to throw that little disclaimer in there, so that we can stay within this control system that is massively against us, guys. I had a woman on last night that was around during the COVID, and she's got some horrific stories of what was happening behind the scenes. So I'm not going to repeat those here. I'm going to keep it kind of focused here, but go watch that on my program. Oh, buddy. She reveals.
Yep. Yeah, incredible. And yeah, we have Aussies in the chat here. 2 years, results are amazing. Aussieland, and definitely want to get the water machine. So here we are. We have demand everywhere for this as well, Michael. So I want to share Captain Kirk here. It's 1:07. How perfect is that? It's an hour 67 in. We're going to share Captain Kirk and then come right back for that with some closing comments from Mr. William Shatner, LifeWave's oldest intern at 92, wearing the patches. How amazing is that? Mr. Shatner, thank you for what you do.
I've lived a long life. I've done a lot of things, but I've never been an intern.
I'm the founder, sure, but I'm also an inventor. My latest experiment? Hire William Shatner, but as an intern. No way I can afford that guy full-time.
Hi, I'm Alicia. I'm going to be your trainer for today.
Hi, Alicia. Hi, Alicia.
William Shatner?
Yeah, well, you can call me Bill. Or intern. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's just fine. Today I'm going to be taking you on a tour of our Welcome Center.
I hear they have something like a captain's bridge in the Welcome Center. Feels like you're traveling through space.
I have an award-winning production designer.
This I gotta see.
For decades. And hey, Bill.
No, please, no sci-fi today. I'm just here as an intern, that's it. I just beamed in. Yeah, I know that look. I get that look whenever I sneak around, and you're sneaking. Go away. I'm busy. Jackpot. You didn't see a thing. me in here.
Bill? Captain?
Oh, you gotta get out here. The old intern who looks an awful lot like me, he's messing things up.
But wait, aren't you?
Yeah, it's a sci-fi thing. Come on.
Oh, excuse me. David, was that? Is that in budget?
There you are. Come on. Back to the group.
People gotta see this.
I know. It's a part of the tour.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are you ready for me? Doug. Bill? Doug. Bill. Doug. Bill. For goodness.
Oh, you know Doug?
Do I know Doug? Star Trek designer on props and sets and the spaceships and this.
Came out beautifully, huh?
Oh, Doug is...
Hey, Bill.
Oh.
One of your clones said you're causing trouble.
You're taking the word of a clone?
Personally, I always go with the original.
That's a good idea.
I have a question. Are you really going to be an intern here?
Yeah, why not? But first, I gotta tell you about the Welcome Center here at the LifeWave offices.
Okay, this is a commercial. Got it.
No. It's a kind of soft sell. No, just a simple suggestion, really. Copy this QR code to learn about LifeWave, its products, and their amazing welcome center, and that's it. I had a great time experiencing their amazing life-changing technology and learning about the opportunities surrounding one of the fastest-growing companies on the planet, and you will too. So check them out, and just tell them Bill sent you, the real Bill, not that sci-fi clone. Oh, okay. Hey, duty calls. Back to internet. Bye-bye.
All right. I mean, that's fun, isn't it? It's like a little disclosure there as well. You saw like the portaling effect where he came in, a clone, and the technology that's on another level. So I've taken groups there. I've been there several times, and I have a brand partner that's really building a very fast growing business. She lives in Utah, not far from there. So she's taken I think a dozen different groups there. Wow. It is very motivational to go through that and see that. I can tell you from my experience and from a lot of people that have been there, it was brilliant to put that together. And of course, Spock or David, however you want to call him, is, had the foresight and the great, forward thinking to bring in that Star Trek theme. Now, I've also met Doug. Doug is a really nice guy. And I've, of course, met David, done shows with David, met him in person, hung out with him. Great. Been to his laboratory. Yeah, he's the Tesla of our time. And absolutely incredible. So, yeah, I highly recommend, you guys get involved with this. And also, at some point, get to see that if, you get involved with our group, we're going to get you to see that incredible welcome center and go through there and see that. And maybe, who knows, at some point, like in my first group, David came in, one of those little sci-fi 3D, boxes. He was there talking with us and so forth. He was in, I think he was in Denmark at the time. So very, very fascinating. Good stuff.
Wow. Yeah, very cool. We hope everybody starts with their X39. This is from Cat for God in chat. Says, I've been using X39 for about 7 months. I feel and look so much better. I hope to meet you all in person sometime soon. I've had angelic encounters that have saved my life. Wow. I'm so thankful I found you. Where we go one, we go all. Awesome, Cat for God. Thank you. And just one more from the chat that I'll put up here for everybody too, because when your system gets back into a homeostatic state and you get out of stress, which we've seen X39, if you're getting better energy and greater sleep, then guess what? Things start working a lot better. As a result of that, here's what this lovely woman in our chat says. I can attest to the patch. I've worn it for 2 years, lost 30 pounds, and my dark hair is growing back under silver hair. I'm 64 years old. And then everybody can see what Kara says right there on the screen. How about that? For a little sticker, $99 a month. How's it getting any better than that? It's amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, you can see people that have been on the patch for, even just a little period of time. That if you've seen them, previously, maybe there wasn't as much light in their eyes. People on the patch, they're lit up, and they got a lot of glow to them. So it's pretty cool.
Exactly. Yeah, they're shining the light because they're living in the light, and that's what it's all about, everybody. That's why out of 15,000 submissions from Big Pharma, Pfizer, J&J, Moderna, all of them, and BioTech, the patch X39 with Cellergize AM won the Stem Cell Innovation of the Year breakthrough and for something that is an all-natural wellness product. Winning at no end. So we look forward to. Drop us a line, drop us comments here. You can email us, call us, jump on board. We have our Zooms, as we mentioned, and we're all on the team to help uplift this world with 1 billion souls is our mission. So you can join the mission too. Michael, it's a true honor working with you. Thank you again for your love, your friendship, your service. Tracy, Joe, and everyone on our team. Is there any final message you'd like to impart upon everyone with what's coming and obviously where we are with LifeWave right now? Maybe you're also related to free energy too.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more patches that are in the works. I guess I've been part of trying them, and they're fantastic. They're going to blow the world away, just like the water machine. And then of course, like we're talking about, energy. David Schmidt is working on energy. He's into hydrogen, obviously, because there's hydrogen in the water. That impacts you when you drink as well, and this hydrogen could be something in the future, very near future, that powers our homes. So kind of like a small little container that basically powers your home, and you break free from the grid, guys. So it's going to be amazing going forward.
It's awesome. All right, everyone, have yourself a lovely rest of your day, weekend. Be sure to jump on board and then share this with everyone we know. We'd all be very grateful for it. So would the world. And consciousness would accelerate as a result of everybody uplifting their spirit and being and walking in the light. We'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Michael.
Great show, Brad. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on the program, ladies and gentlemen. Please like, follow, subscribe, share this with 9 friends and family. And of course, if you enjoy our Blink Buddha firing red pills from his 9mm, let us know.
It was awesome. Thank you.